Good evening, Professor Sule Magaji. Good evening to you all, my classmates. I'm by name Clara Chibuzo Chiroma. I'm here to present the work on promoting decent work in Nigeria. Agenda of my presentations are first introduction to decent work. I'll begin by outlining the concepts of decent work and its relevance in today's context. Statements of the problem. This section will outline the key challenges faced by Nigeria in achieving decent work standards. I have research questions and objectives. To explore research questions and objectives, which will guide me my focus on what I'm studying. The next I have is understanding decent work. Definition of decent work, which I will say that it involves not just job availability but also the quality and security of those jobs. Fair income and security, ensuring fair income, security, urgency in Nigeria. High unemployment is rampant everywhere and is very urgent to be introduced decent work in Nigeria. Then we have challenges in Nigeria: high informal employment rates, inadequate social protection, policy gaps. Despite various policies for improving employment, there are inconsistencies with sustainable livelihood and inclusive growth strategies. We have barriers to decent work strategies, lack of job security, insufficient policy frameworks, marginalization of vulnerable groups, more like women and youth face additional barriers most times, which further marginalize participation in the workforce. I have my research questions. Question serves as the foundation for my study. What are the current barriers to the implementation of decent work strategies in Nigeria? How can the concept of decent work be adapted to Nigerian context to address issues of unemployment, informality, and inequality? What role do policies play in promoting decent work for sustainable livelihood and inclusive growth in Nigeria? I have my research objectives to investigate the current state of employment condition in Nigeria and identify barriers to achieving decent work, to exploit the potential of decent work strategies in promoting inclusive economic growth and sustainable livelihood, to examine existing policies and frameworks aimed at improving work conditions and assess their effectiveness. Significance of my study, this study, it enhances knowledge. Research enhances the understanding of labor policies and their impact on economic development in Nigeria. Decent work prioritization, policy insights. Study aims to provide valuable insights for policymakers in integrating social protection and employment practices. Poverty alleviation. This research will contribute strategies aimed at poverty alleviation and fostering inclusive economic growth in Nigeria. Impacts on policy making. Policy framework development. The proposed policy framework will also aim to support government agencies and NGOs in achieving sustainable economic development. I believe so. International collaboration. This framework will facilitate collaboration between international organizations and local entities to address economic challenges. a comparative research basis. Framework will serve as a foundation for comparative research, enhancing understanding of global practices. Scope of my study. I'm focusing on Nigeria. Here in Nigeria, the study will concentrate on Nigeria, providing insights into the employment strategies that promote decent work. Sectorial analysis. The research will examine various sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, services, even housing, and informal employment. Holistic understanding. This comprehensive approach aims to provide a holistic understanding of Nigerian employment landscape and decent work strategies. Literature review overview, decent work definition, informal sector insights, sustainable livelihood. The literature will connect decent work with sustainable livelihood. Long-term economic stability will be achieved. Social equity and economic growth. Decent work policies. Decent work policies promote fair wages, social security, labor rights, benefiting both individuals and society. Impact on income inequality. Implementing decent work policies can significantly reduce income inequality and promote a more equitable society, enhancing social cohesion and integration with economic growth. Integrating decent work into economic growth strategies is sustainable development and prosperity. Research methodology, mixed method approach. This research will employ a mixed method approach, blending qualitative and quantitative techniques to gather comprehensive data. Qualitative data collection, in-depth interviews, and focus group discussions will gather insight from stakeholders, especially from vulnerable groups. I meant in-depth interview and focus group discussions. Data analysis techniques. Thematic analysis. Qualitative data will undergo thematic analysis to identify key issues related to decent work and policy gaps. Statistical method. Quantitative data will use statistical methods to analyze the relationships between decent work strategies and economic indicators. Decent work indicators, indicators of economic growth, social equity, sustainable livelihood will be measured to inform policy development. Expected outcomes. Decent work strategies. The study will highlight how decent work strategies can create opportunities for all, fostering inclusive economic growth insights. Insight from this study will reveal how decent work practices positively impact economic development indicators. Stakeholders guidance. The research will help to serve as a guide for stakeholders involved in economic development initiatives. Thank you, Professor Sule Magaji, and my wonderful classmates.